let's try to do something, well, kind of impossible. We're going to take the entire sprawling 4.5 billion year history of planet Earth and try to fit it into one single story. And to even begin to do that, we have to shrink it way, way down to a scale our brains can actually handle. So what if we did that? What if you could take that immense timeline and just compress it into 24 hours? When would the first life even show up? How long would the dinosaurs really last? And the biggest question of all, where do we, humanity, fit into the picture? All right, let's do this. We're about to go on a whirlwind tour through Earth's entire existence. The clock is set. It starts right now, at midnight, with the birth of our world. Now, these first 4 hours of our planetary day, they are anything but peaceful. This is a time of absolute chaos, of cosmic collisions and violent creation. It all kicks off at the stroke of midnight as a big old cloud of dust and gas clumps together to become a planet. But just 40 minutes in, bam, a massive collision with another planet, Theia, blasts a chunk of Earth into orbit, and that debris becomes our moon. Then, by about 1:15 in the morning, things finally start to cool down, and the first oceans begin to form. And check this out. Down in those brand new oceans, something incredible is brewing. At just before 2 a.m., deep sea vents are basically acting like little chemical factories. They're churning out the very first building blocks of life: amino acids, RNA, proteins. This is the famous primordial soup, and it's where the magic is about to happen. So after all those fireworks at the beginning, things get really, really quiet. For the next 17 hours on our clock, that's most of the day, life is here, but it's taking its sweet time, developing at a pace that is just unbelievably slow. And there it is. At 4:30 in the morning, the first real, fully formed, self-replicating cell finally emerges from that soup. This is it. Life on Earth has officially begun. But for literally billions of years, it's going to stay super, super simple. The next huge leap is all about design. The first cells, called prokaryotes, which show up around 11 a.m., are kind of like tiny studio apartments. Everything's just jumbled together in one room. Simple, yeah, but messy. But then, around 1:39 in the afternoon, we get a revolution, the eukaryote. This is like a giant house with specialized rooms, a nucleus to protect the DNA, mitochondria to act as power plants. This new complexity is a total game changer. And get this, life itself actually starts to reshape the entire planet. Around 11:13 a.m., little bacteria start pumping out oxygen. Now, for most of the life around at the time, this stuff was pure poison. It caused a massive extinction. But it was also a huge opportunity. New organisms evolved that could actually breathe this oxygen, unlocking way more energy and paving the way for all the complex animals that were to come. And just like that, the day is almost over. We're at 9 p.m. And after 17 straight hours of slow and steady progress, evolution just slammed its foot on the gas pedal. Welcome to the evening rush hour. At 9:12 p.m., the Cambrian explosion kicks off. It's like nature's creative studio just went wild. All of a sudden, the oceans are packed with all these bizarre new creatures. You've got armored trilobites, the weird spiny hallucigenia, and even Pikaia, one of the first critters with a primitive spine. Yep, that's a distant relative of ours right there. And this momentum, it's totally unstoppable. By 9:34 p.m., the first simple plants are starting to turn the barren continents green. And just 6 minutes after that, the animals follow. First, it's the arthropods. Then, by 10:05 p.m., pioneers like Ichthyostega are using their brand new limbs to haul themselves out of the water and take the first clumsy steps on land. We've now arrived at one of the most famous, most epic chapters in Earth's history. The clock is pushing 11 p.m., and the giants are about to take over. The evolutionary path is moving lightning fast now. We go from the age of fish to the first reptiles, who completely free themselves from the water. And then, at 10:48 p.m., some of these reptiles develop this key innovation, an upright stance, with their legs right under their bodies. And just like that, you have the first dinosaurs. By 11:13 p.m., some of their descendants, like Archaeopteryx, will even have feathers and take to the sky as the first birds. I mean, just stop and think about that. For 51 minutes, that's nearly a full hour on our 24-hour clock, dinosaurs are the undisputed rulers of this planet. They are an absolutely incredible success story, dominating just about every ecosystem you can imagine. But their time is about to run out. The clock is ticking closer and closer to midnight, and a catastrophe is on its way that will completely clear the stage for a whole new cast of characters. At 11:39 p.m., with just 21 minutes left in the entire day, it happens. A single event that will change the course of life on Earth forever. An asteroid 6 miles wide that is taller than Mount Everest is high slams into the planet. The sheer scale of this impact is, well, it's almost impossible to comprehend. The impact throws so much dust into the atmosphere that it literally blankets the entire globe, blocking out the sun. Photosynthesis just stops. The planet is plunged into a long, dark winter, and the whole food web collapses from the bottom up. The result is absolutely catastrophic. Up to 75% of all species on Earth are wiped out forever, including all the dinosaurs that couldn't fly. But in all that devastation, there's an opening. With the giants gone, the small, furry mammals who've been hiding in the shadows finally get their chance. And just 1 minute later, at 11:40 p.m., the very first primates appear. Okay, take a deep breath because everything is about to get very, very fast. We have just arrived at the final minute of the entire day. This is our story. Okay, here we go. At 13 seconds to midnight, Homo habilis shows up. At 24 seconds, Homo erectus masters fire. By 50 seconds, Neanderthals are here. And then, with just 6 seconds left in the entire day, our species, Homo sapiens, finally arrives in Africa. We start migrating across the world with 2 seconds to spare, and the Neanderthals are gone a second later. So what about all of recorded human history? Agriculture, the pyramids, empires, the steam engine, the internet, all of it? Every war we've fought, every song we've written, every building we've built, it all happens in the final tick of the clock. Less than the blink of an eye. When you see our history laid out like this, you realize our entire existence has barely made a mark on this cosmic clock. Our time here has only just begun, which leaves us with a pretty profound question, don't you think? What are we going to do with our second?